Hi, it's Mark Kelly here in Conor Malloy. We've just come back from Understanding Data and Candidate Relationships Journey, which was a hosted lunch by Glassdoor. And there were several takeaways that we wanted to share with you today. Myself and Conor will give you a brief overview about what those takeaways were. For me, Conor, the biggest takeaway I found was that unless you define your employer brand, someone else will actually define it for you. So I found that particularly powerful. Anything else that you felt particularly powerful?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I talked about was, do you know the cost to hire? I mean, it can come in many different ways. It's not just a financial aspect, and there's many other things to take in part. So they gave us some tips around working out the full cost and how that affects your organisation, cultural fit, and things like that as well. So that was definitely something that was really good to think about.
I also thought the effect of a bad hire and how much a bad hire will actually cost your brand. So in terms of the training, the development, the amount of money you actually spend on that hire, but also the bad negative impact it has on your business is also detrimental. One other point I found interesting was the 43% reduction if you've got a really top employer brand. So if you've got a really good employer brand, you'll pay 43% less cost per hire than most of the companies that don't.
Would you find that in our company, Mark, that would be the same case? Like, you know, these statistics, would that affect computer futures a lot as well?
I definitely would. A big part of our business is being driven by referrals, and interestingly enough, in the presentation today, they said referrals was a really important part of that. The only issue with referrals is sometimes you don't necessarily get a different type of skill set or personality that you do want to introduce to the business. But again, the employer branding is so important, and it definitely have been takeaway close for me.
Yeah, one of the parts I found interesting as well is actually the people we met there. I met a guy who's really interested in neuroscience, and he was talking about in his company they were using computers to decide who to take to interview, and that was really interesting. He said actually it turned out that most people weren't a good cultural fit when they got to interview, so there still has to be a human element and a human face-to-face and checking over what, let's say, the logical computer would do, rather than confirming something like confirmation bias or unconscious bias as well. So I learned actually some information from the other attendees just by having conversations as well, rather than just kind of what was said out loud. So that was really good.
One thing is that you can look at Glassdoor and you actually look at some of the reviews you get for people that actually currently work there, or their experience, previous employees, but also it's really important to actually track the interview process and how people engage, even if they didn't get the job. Because if that process isn't very, very slick and well thought out, there could be massive impact to your employer brand.
Yeah, I mean, as you said at the very start, like, you know, you have to define your brand or somebody else will do it for you, and that was the kind of point they said a few times, and it kind of had a nice roof to the rest of the conversation they were going for, and it's the points we raised today. I think they finished on, what was it, 3 ways to invest in people. What was that one again, Mark?
So what they said is, they left as a takeaway close, they say, is that if you want to get the best people for your business, promote within, give them some stocks, and have a slick training and onboarding plan. If you can do that, you're going to be leading yourself up for massive success for your employer brand. Hope you found that information helpful today. Literally, we're just back 20 minutes ago, so if we can share that information to you today, it'd be great. Talk to you soon. Bye.